Hey, good to have you back. Master's College Lecture 12, Apologetics III, and we're in. Now I'm going to talk about the topic extraterrestrials. Say that with me. Extraterrestrials. Yes. E.T.
Home.
Super genius Stephen Hawking has a message for aliens. Stay away! Not only does the astrophysicist and Einstein-like sage say extraterrestrials are sure to exist, based on the Carl Sagan principle that there are billions and billions of stars and galaxies, but if they do decide to visit Earth, it'll be a real war of the worlds. In the new Discovery series, Hawking's uber brain postulates intelligent life forms may pose a threat to the Earth which would be devastating for all mankind. Aliens might simply raid Earth for its resources and then move on. We only have to look at ourselves to see how intelligent life might develop into something we wouldn't want to meet. I imagine they might exist in massive ships, having used up all the resources from their home planet. Such advanced aliens would perhaps become nomads, looking to conquer. Now, this super genius guy, he just watched too many movies. That's what a lot of movies are. They're actually laughing here, you just can't hear them. So,
Hawkins is scary.
what's that?
Hawkins is scary.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I don't blame him. It's someone who denies that there's a God, and it's just this us here, and there's got to be more of us. Because evolution, I don't know if I get into this here, but if evolution is true, there's got to be other intelligent life forms. In fact, tons of them out there. If there's trillions of stars, let's say even a billion inhabitable planets. Let's say a million inhabitable planets. There has got to be some others like us, and they're maybe some more advanced than us. Are we the most advanced? Probably not. So there's others out there that are going to be trying to communicate with us. The term exotheology was coined in the 60s or 70s for the examination of theological issues as they pertain to extraterrestrial intelligence. Exotheology. You can impress people. That's people that study theology and how it relates to extraterrestrials. I think your conversation will end right there. Talking to someone. It's primarily concerned with either conjecture about possible theological beliefs that extraterrestrials might have. I think they believe in Catholicism. Or how our own theologies have been or will be influenced by evidence of and or interaction with extraterrestrials. That makes a little more sense. Like if extraterrestrials did land, how would that change our theology?
God just made those
But
too.
it gets you to start thinking, hold on a second. So that has some significance. Oh, C.S. Lewis. A Christian writer early to address this question was C.S. Lewis, who in the 50s, in a 50s article in the Christian Herald, contemplated the possibility of the Son of God incarnating in other extraterrestrial worlds, or else that God could devise an entirely distinct plan of salvation for extraterrestrial communities from the one applicable to humans. Let's go over that again. It's kind of a deep statement, and I got lost in it. So he says there's a possibility that the Son of God became flesh in another world with other entities, humans. Or another one would be that God, he could devise a different plan of salvation for these people. Because, if you look up, what's the problem here? Jesus came to Earth, not to other worlds. Right. So in C.S. Lewis' mind, he wanted to believe in extraterrestrials, so he said, he could have a different plan of salvation for them.
Why would they have needed a plan of salvation?
Well, there's some logic here why they would. I think it's later on we get into that. But just because of the way people are, what we know about ourselves. No, he believes in a God. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The Catholic Vatican theologian Corrado Balducci often discussed the question in Italian popular media, and in 2001 published a statement, UFOs and extraterrestrials, a problem for the church? In a 2008 statement, Jose Gabriel Funes, head of the Vatican Observatory, said, just as there is a multiplicity of creatures on earth, there can be other beings, even intelligent, created by God. This is not in contrast with our faith because we can't put limits on God's creative freedom. And that is true. Mm-hmm. And you can say, there is not any other life forms other than what's here on earth. And guess what? You're wrong. Mm-hmm. There are extraterrestrials. Mm-hmm. As I say later, extra celestials. Yeah, there are. Where are they at?
Angels, you mean?
Yeah, angels. There's heaven, the third heaven.
There's
hell.
seraphims and seraphims and teraphims.
But they're not here on earth with us. So they're elsewhere. We can be visited by them. They're trying to communicate with us, aren't they? There can be little doubt that the prospect of intelligent life existing in outer space has intrigued evolutionary scientists for generations. You pick up almost any evolution textbook and you'll find a reference to, a brief discussion of, or a whole chapter on extraterrestrial life, because they go hand in hand. Some years ago, Carl Sagan, the late astronomer from Cornell University, ever hear of him?
Mm-hmm.
Say
Yes,
something.
yes.
Oh,
thank
yes.
you. Yeah, there's people watching. I want you to talk. Well, he raised private funding for a radio telescope that would search the skies for a message coming into us from supposed extraterrestrial beings. There was a lot of money raised for this.
Yeah.
Dr. Sagan and Dr. Frank Drake were asked by NASA to design an interstellar communication specifically aimed at extraterrestrials in hopes of letting them know that we are here. NASA involved with this. In fact, NASA, the best I understand, one part of NASA is for space wars. But the main reason is for searching for other life. Consequently, attached to NASA's Pioneer 10 and 11 space probes were identical gold plaques inscribed with pictorial messages sent across the light years to tell about Earth's civilization. So they sent these things out. I don't think it was on the moon. I think it was just sent out in outer space. These gold plaques with pictures of us. I wonder who they had on there. Since that time, various other attempts either to accept communication from alleged terrestrials or to communicate with them have been made. So they've been trying to, and they're spending government money on it, taxpayers' money, trying to communicate with nothing. Space dust. One might ask, why all the interest in the possibility of intelligent life in outer space? Why? Well, there's several answers. First, there are some who firmly believe in the existence of intelligent extraterrestrial life because they are convinced that, this is rational here, if life evolved here, it not only could have evolved elsewhere, but must have done so. And this is the case if you believe in evolution. It has to have happened, or your whole theory is bogus. Carl Sagan is but one example of evolutionists who follow this line of reasoning. I think they all have to, really. In an interview, Dr. Sagan said these points. There are something like 10 to 22 stars in the universe. You understand what that is? That's the number 1 with 22 zeros after it. Or this way. 22 zeros after it. And there's about 1 in a million of these stars, so let's go with this. 10 with a whole bunch of zeros after it, stars in the universe. And as about 1 in a million of these stars is a yellow dwarf star like our sun. This means that there are about 1 with 16 zeros, sun-type stars in the universe, in his view. Now, 1 in a million, he's guessing, of these sun-type stars probably has a planetary system similar to that of our sun's. Therefore, there are about 10, so 1 with 10 zeros, yeah, that's a trillion or something, in the universe. Planetary systems in the universe. 1 in a million of these planetary systems probably has a planet similar to that of Earth. And life must have evolved on those planets in the same manner which is done on Earth. Therefore, there are at least 10,000 planets in the universe that have life on them. So I was wrong in my million thing. Carl Sagan, in a conservative estimate, says there's 10,000 planets like ours with intelligible life on it. So if there's 10,000 of them, somewhere out there, shouldn't we be having some contact? Wouldn't they be trying to contact us? We're trying to contact them.
Maybe they're still amoebas.
Maybe still, intelligent life forms are amoebas. That's why you watch Star Trek or Star Wars, you got all these strange-looking fish creatures. Klingons, yeah. Where are the more intelligent-looking ones at? See, we can't think that far. We don't know what more intelligent looks like. It's impossible for us to think that way. Paul Davies, a renowned physicist and cosmologist, stated in his book, Other Worlds, our galaxy, the Milky Way, contains about 100 billion stars, grouped together in a gigantic spiral assembly typical of the billions of other galaxies scattered throughout the universe. This means that there is nothing very special about the Earth. So probably life is not a remarkable phenomenon either. If you believe in evolution, I agree with that, if you believe that way. It would be surprising if life were not widespread throughout the cosmos, though it may be rather sparse, because we're not finding anything. Not finding anything. Nothing. Look at this thing on Mars. Did you see that a couple months back? It looks like something that's water related. It looked like they had a lake or something on Mars. What would happen if they found water on another planet? Do you understand the implications?
Yeah, life.
Life as we know it needs to have water. Now that's as we know it. Why can't it be some other fluid? These all breathe gasoline. They breathe gasoline and eat fungus. That's their life. And they live in rocks. They live inside the rock. It's part of their body. You know, you can think all this weird stuff. We don't understand it. Well, anyways, it's reasonable though, if you believe in evolution, it's reasonable to believe in extraterrestrials. It's totally reasonable, so don't laugh at them. It's a must. You have to believe that way. Because, here it is. It would be very logical if following the theory of evolution, if you're following that there would have to be thousands of Earths out there in this vast universe. And it's totally against the teaching of evolution to have just one planet like Earth. There would need to be many, 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 many Earth-like planets out there where evolution is bogus. Why is that? Because of just, you understand evolution, the process of time, there's one that's survivable, and then it has a whole bunch, and it's just process of time, and you have a whole bunch, and it has variations, and it has a whole bunch, and there's variations of just all that. That's why it's bogus about humans evolving, because there's no missing links, there's no intermediate life forms. They say apes, okay, there should be all these little changes in between an ape and us.
Right.
And we only see a few of those with certain people. We don't see that. We don't see it. We don't see it. And you don't see it in the planets either.
That's right.
It's all there.
Yeah.
Stop believing in evolution.
Amen.
You know, what response should the creationists offer to these various evolutionary positions on the existence of intelligent life in outer space? So what should we say? Well, first, let us note that any claims made concerning the existence of life in outer space are just that, they're claims. Has anyone ever seen anything where they prove that there's life on other planets?
Well, you see them
These
all the time
pictures?
in the movies.
Yeah, right. The movies, yeah. They want to
So
believe
they
it.
must be.
People want to believe it so badly, because then it would, hey, then they'd feel right about their belief system. They're constantly being bothered by the Spirit of God, and just what's built into their own conscience, resisting God. So if they could find some life form out there, ha, the Bible's wrong. Still wouldn't disprove the Bible,
No.
No.
because it could still fit in. It's just really complicated, and well, let's go on. Freeman Dyson, in his classic text, Disturbing the Universe, wrote eloquently on this very point. Someone read it slowly, if you can.
Many of the people who are interested in searching for extraterrestrial intelligence have come to believe in a doctrine which I call the philosophical discourse dogma, maintaining as an article of faith that the universe is filled with societies engaged in a long-range philosophical discourse. The philosophical discourse dogma holds the following truths to be self-evident.
All right, so that was a long way to go for getting to this, but thank you for reading it. But here's what he's pointing at, this philosophical discourse dogma. So, one, life is abundant in the universe. If evolution is true, there's got to be life out there. Two, a significant fraction of the planets on which life exists will give rise to intelligent species. That's reasonable. It's this philosophical discourse, your kind of philosophy, and you believe it. Three, a significant fraction of intelligent species transmit messages for our enlightenment. Now that's a big step there, but it's a philosophical chat you're having with people. Just think it out.
So right
And
now
it's-
there's people talking to me?
No.
That's what it sounds like. That's what
No. Now, these statements are accepted, and it makes sense to concentrate our efforts upon the search for radio messages and to ignore other ways of looking for evidence of intelligence in the universe. Who wrote this? Someone wrote this. We'll get to the end and find out. Let's find out who wrote this. ApologeticsIII.org. Bert Thompson, PhD. Okay. He says, but to me, the philosophical discourse dogma is far from self-evident. There is as yet no evidence either for it or against it. It's just guesswork. Meaning, there's a certain number of planets that got to have life on it. A certain number of those has got to have intelligent life. You're just guessing. But, it's reasonable to try and guess. And then this third one, a significant fraction of intelligent species transmit. They do this. They transmit messages for our enlightenment. The only reason he's thinking that is because we do. So, but that's okay. I don't think he's a fool for saying that.
There's all those creatures out there talking to you.
Yes.
It explains a lot.
You're hearing voices of schizophrenics. Those, where do we stop at? Yeah, I see where we're going to stop. Those who wish to convince us of a directed panspermia via some intelligence in outer space apparently have failed to understand. They have not addressed the issue at hand. They really have moved it to another planet. So I had to add here to explain all this. So there's this issue. Panspermia is just having life come out, happen. What a strange term, huh? Yeah. So when, where, and how did life originally begin in the universe? You see, this is the issue. So even if there was, even if there was extraterrestrials, okay, you're an evolutionist, you believe it, and say it's proven, or you just think it is. Still got this big problem. What is it? Okay, so there is. So where did life come from? Where did that life come from? Where did all these other lives come from? What is the source of life? Where did it all begin? That's in the Big Bang. It's still this issue. Big Bang. So they may say that proves evolution's true. No, it does not. But you can put that in the category on the side of, it'll be the one thing you could come up with. Going on here, the question obviously arises, did the intelligence that allegedly directed the panspermia evolve, or was it created? So whoever caused these other planets to have life, did that evolve there, or was it created? And we find ourselves right back to where we started from, with Earth, the question of life, how did it come? Whether there is intelligent life in outer space or not does not answer the basic question of where that life or life on Earth originated. That's the big one. Thus, the most important question is not, is there extraterrestrial life? But rather, did life evolve or was it created? Let's take a break.